Defense Secretary Donald Rumsfeld remains under fire tonight. There's even a bill in Congress calling for his impeachment. But unbowed, he's put forward a plan to expand the Pentagon's intelligence-gathering role, a move a shocked New York Times calls, quote, a recipe for disaster. Is it time for Rumsfeld to go, or for his critics to get off his back? Then if you went to the holiday concert in Maplewood, New Jersey tonight, you wouldn't have heard any Christmas carols, at least not sung by the kids. But outside, the mayor of Bogota, New Jersey, was staging a sing-in. He's here tonight to tell us all about it. And with Iraqi elections coming up next month, Iran is reportedly interfering to affect the outcome. Should Tehran be America's next target? That debate and much more tonight on Scarborough Country.
From the press room to the courtroom to the halls of Congress, Joe Scarborough has seen it all. Welcome to Scarborough Country.
Then President Bush, himself now at 49% approval, afford to keep supporting Rummy. Joining me now, Bob Baer, former CIA officer and author of Sleeping with the Devil, How Washington Sold Our Soul for Saudi Crude, Terry Jeffrey, editor of Human Events magazine, and Democratic pollster Margie Omero, president of Momentum Analysis. Margie Omero.
Well, the president, as we've seen for a while, rewards loyalty before competence. So I wouldn't be surprised if he kept Rumsfeld on for quite a bit longer. And it seems to be that the president's attitude is, we'll go with the Secretary of Defense that we have and not the one that the American public wishes we have, because polls show that people are dissatisfied with the war in Iraq. They disapprove of Bush's performance in Iraq, and they want Rumsfeld to go.
Mm-hmm. All right, Margie Omero, this is an argument. Some head somewhere should have rolled for this. There's no doubt about it. The president was badly served here.
Right. I mean, that's clear. And the American public wants answers. They want results, and they want to see that we're making progress. And they don't feel that that's really happening in a way that justifies what's happening there and the casualties that we've seen today and that we're seeing so frequently. And whether it's even if Rumsfeld ends up taking the fall, it's not as if President Bush is going to put someone in his place who's going to differ wildly from what Rumsfeld's done.
Bob Baer, look, Margie Omero, you're a Democrat.
Yes.
How long do you think the Democrats will support the war, given what's happening in Mosul and given what happened on Sunday with that? And I'm sure everybody's going to support it up to the election, but after that, is the Dean wing going to come forward?
Yeah, I mean, it's not just Democrats. I mean, we're talking about the public, majority of the public. And so Democrats are already coming out against the war. Democrats have been coming out against the war for a while now. You're going to see more and more Democrats. You're seeing Republicans criticize Bush. I mean, if Rumsfeld was a stock, you see McCain and Hagel and other folks right, shorting that stock.
But McCain, welcome back. That was Republican Senator Chuck Hagel. Again, my panel, Bob Baer, Terry Jeffrey, Margie Omero. Bob Baer, let me ask you about your take on, given where the polls are today, where the casualties are today, the hopes that have been invested in this election, and the fact that even the president admits the Iraqi army is not up and running the way it should be. How long do you think the American people will continue along this course of casualties and coming back without any clear end to the American involvement in sight? And secondly, if the president asks for what McCain wants, 40 or 50,000 more ground troops, should we send them and would we? Let me talk. Margie, go ahead.
Yeah, the American public is not willing to expand this conflict. I mean, they're looking for the president to find, at some point soon, it's going to be his unwavering resolve is going to seem foolish and dangerous rather than strong.
All right, let me ask you then. I mean, I mentioned the Dean wing of the Democratic Party. I always felt if John Kerry won, that he would have a hellish time if he felt he had to put troops in, because his party was divided. Up there at that convention in Boston, that was an anti-war party. It cheered Sharpton, it cheered Dean. Mm-hmm. I mean, they were taken out of prime time, but they really set the place on fire. And Dean's speech wasn't all that good to set it on fire. So my point is, with the Democratic Party, when will they do as they did during Vietnam and break with the administration?
I think that's happening. I mean, that's really happening. I mean, this is now when the majority of Americans are already opposed to the war. Democrats and their elected officials and Republicans are starting to fall in line.
Terry? Margie, let me ask you this. If the Shias, as Terry suggests, wins, and everybody believes they're going to win, I think the Sunnis are not going to accept rule by the Shia. They've got no oil, and they got no political power, and they used to run the place.
I think if the president ends up wanting to stay there much farther after the elections, he's going to have a very big problem with the Republican Party and with Democrats and with the American public, with independents across the board. And if he's not looking at this in a realistic way, he's looking at it as I've been anointed by God to go do this, then that's going to put him in a different kind of decision-making process than someone who's really looking as a president, as a leader of a democracy.
Okay, Bob Baer, Terry Jeffrey, Margie Omero, thank you for being here. And coming up, yet another chapter in the war on Christmas, as kids in Maplewood, New Jersey are banned from singing Christmas carols. The mayor of another New Jersey town has finally had enough. He'll be joining us next to talk about the sing-in he staged tonight.